You know, this is triple the amount of views I was expecting to get on that video. I am more than happy with this outcome. Since that video did so well, at least by my standards, I figured that I might as well throw my hat into a different ring of Sea of Thieves discussion. Cosmetics. How to improve them, and what I personally think should be added if it's not already in planning. Now, so far, most of the cosmetics in this game have been somewhat consistent to the original art direction, at least as far as ones you can buy for gold in the Emerald shops. Fun hats, coats, shirts, and boots that aren't too realistic nor outlandishly cartoony. With what we already have, there is a wide variety of selections that enable you to not only complete a full matching set, but mix and match to further define your own fashion sense and create an aesthetic unique to your individual pirate and their story. For example, this is what my pirate looks like. Only two of these items are from the same set, the jacket and the beard. The selections aren't perfect though, and there are several items that either look like what happens when a runway artiste is given way too much creative freedom, or they just flat out don't match any other clothing item in the entire game, to the point that it's confusing that they were even added in the first place. But hold on, if I'm gonna be a nitpicky fashion critic and critique aesthetics, I may as well look the part. What? Now then, let's review the options we have, and how they can be improved upon, and what can be added to take Sea of Thieves and steer it away from becoming Pirate Fortnite. Hats are the first thing I want to get to in this video. I'm not going to go through the entire list of hat cosmetics we have, just the ones that are notable, because all of them just basically boil down to I personally like it or I personally don't like it, whereas the ones that are of note, I feel like I have something actually substantial to say about. So let's get right into it. First up, we have the Majestic Sovereign Hat. Now, this color scheme is really good for a pirate, I think we can all agree on that, but the problem with this hat should be immediately obvious if you just look at the brim. It flares up like an outwards the further in it goes. It's weird. It's like, it's less of a hat, more of a flying saucer that just looks really ugly, and I really think that should be fixed. Next up, we have the Castaway Bilge Rat hat. This hat would have been really good. It looks really nice, has good shape, good trim. It's still kind of scuffed like you would expect of Sea of Thieves cosmetics, like how they should look. But the pigeon head just really does not do it any favors. It just ruins the whole thing unless you're specifically going for that look. But the problem is we don't have this shape of a hat without the pigeon head. It's just disturbing. And then we have the dashing tricorn, which just flat out looks like Minecraft terracotta. The only thing dashing about this is how fast people are going away to avoid buying it. It's ugly, it's too small, it's a bad color. Like, this color could work good for, like, pants or a belt maybe, but not for a hat. Hats should be, like, either vibrant colors or dark. They shouldn't be this weird Minecraft terracotta color. Here's an example of like the bandanas in the game. They're good. They're not great, but they're good. They serve the purpose, and I think that's fine. We just don't have a lot of them. There's the dark red one, this green one that you see on screen, and then I think there's like a pale dark pink one. It's weird, but yeah, that's all we got. We don't have like any stripe patterns, no checker patterns, even though they have a checker pattern bandana in the game, but more on that later. We just need more bandanas available. The Sea Dog hat. Now, this thing is really good. I love this thing. I don't personally own it, but it is a really good hat. I like to see this more often on the seas. It's got really good shape, really good curves, the trim and the color of it itself, like the brown and dark green complement each other really well. The red into yellow into green on the feathers is really nicely done. It's just a really good hat. Its recolors are kind of hit and miss, but mostly these hats are hits. They're great. The Sovereign hat, another one that is just really, really good. Like, these hats are pretty much like really decent. And I mean that in like the best way possible. They're not like subpar or anything. They're just great functional hats. They're simple, they're straightforward, they have a nice little feather on them. The feathers have this weird like metallic reflection-y shader on them. I'm not sure how I feel about that because I have seen feathers like that on birds, but I don't know. I just like these hats. They're really good, really straightforward. The Grand Admiral hat. Now this thing and its recolors are gorgeous. The shape of them, how snugly they fit on the head, they look like they'd be really comfortable to wear. The nice matching trims, it is exceptional. And I also love the little details of the buckles. The only complaint, and I think we all share this, is what the fuck is crossed on the top there. I know it's supposed to be swords, but it just looks like ugly bits of scrap metal. Like it's not good. They should that should be fixed. The Bilge Rat hat, as you can see, is kind of a similar shape to the Castaway Bilge Rat hats, but it's like more defined. It's still a little tattered, which I think is good for the Bilge Rat sets. But yeah, this shape of hat is really good. You can only see the front of it in the screenshot because I don't know how to screen record well in the game without my computer blowing up. But it's just really good. I love these hats. I wish there was like a cleaned up version of it. The Admiral hat is another really good one that we need more of this kind of hat. Like, not this specific kind, we don't need more recolors rare, please, but we need more of like these nice basic hats that are just good and functional and fit really well. Like, as you can see, it fits best with its intended cosmetic set, but it works also just right here, where like it doesn't match any of the colors of on the jacket or the shirt of what I'm wearing, but it just still works. It doesn't clash. The Nightfall Hunter hat would be really good if it wasn't for the stitches all over this thing. Now, this is a problem I have with a lot of Sea of Thieves cosmetics. Like, for the Bilge Rat sets where they're supposed to be ratty, I get it. I actually really like the stitches on those. But the problem with the Sea of Thieves cosmetics in general is they just like throwing random stitches and like sewing marks all over the clothes where it either doesn't really make sense or it just stands out and makes them look really ratty and ugly when they're supposed to be the normal clothes, not the Bilge Rat ones. But yeah, just take the stitches off, and this is a great hat. Now this hat is great. I forgot the name of it. It's one of the newer Ashen Dragon hats, and it is gorgeous. Like, absolutely gorgeous. I love this thing. This thing is regality incarnate. It is wonderful. This is what the gaudy hats in this game should be like. Not overly shiny and gold and blinged out, but detailed and subtle. It is amazing. I love the contrast of the colors. I love the attention to detail, the sharp angles. It looks like it was taken straight out of the East. Now look at this hat. Just just look at it. Straightforward, simple, symmetrical, circular. It is great. It looks like what it's supposed to look like. It looks like what it's inspired by. Great stuff. Straight out of the East. It is amazing, simple, and straightforward. This is what we need more of rare. Stuff that just actually looks like something somebody would wear in this time period. It is great. The emissary hats are another pair of really good ones. Like, we have the merchant one that has like the nice cyan coloring, the beautiful gold trim, the little medallions on the side, and the fluff. It is just great. This looks like something people would actually want to wear. Like some pirate would want to steal this and wear it as a trophy. It's great. And the Gold Hoarder hat is along the exact same lines. This looks like not only a proper faction hat if your pirate wanted to be like representing Gold Hoarder's faction, but also this hat could be a really good trophy. Like, I would want this hat after hypothetically murdering some poor Gold Hoarder and taking all his shit. Really good stuff. But you get the point by now, at least when it comes to the good hat designs. There are a lot of good ones that are still like nice and fancy without being overcomplicated or overly gaudy, like the Rose hat, the Prosperous Privateer hat, the Trickster hat. Just a lot of really good hats that are simple, yet still nice and fancy for if that's something you want your pirate to look like. And there's still a lot of like really simple options, although not enough of them. Sadly, though, a lot of these hats are not great. Let's get into those. For example, the accomplished aristocrat hat. Now, looking at this image right now, you might think, oh, that actually matches the dark adventurer jacket really well, and it kind of does. The problem is, if you're looking for like that blue hat to match like any other blue clothing item, basically nothing else in the game has this color of blue and matches that well. It is really hard to match this hat with anything, and that is a crime against nature. That we don't need like this hat to disappear. We need more clothes with this blue, like this specific kind of blue. Now the Briggsy hat looks like something a pirate would actually wear if he's like super egotistical and like doesn't understand basic fashion sense, but like I can give an excuse for that. Like this looks like something a pirate would wear, but this is where the art direction starts to head down a dark path. Like, this is just on the fence before it just teeters over into insanity, and we'll see that insanity later once I get the costumes. The Cursed Captain hat, on the other hand, is a return back to simplicity, yet, like, this is the kind of hat we need more of. Like, it's not too small, but it's as small as the like dashing tricorn, but it actually has a shape that fits that small size. Tricorns are usually like a bit bigger, a lot bolder with how like geometric they are. But like small hats like this, where it's nice and sleek and slim, that fits, and the feathers add a bit of shape and color to it. It's just, yeah, this is what a small hat should be like. The hat for Captain Flameheart again. Another captain's hat that is just wonderfully simple. It's nice and broad, it has like the little bones stapled to the side of it, has a nice, unique shape with a lot of character to it, and a red feather in the back. It's just, this is a really, really good hat that you should really see more of on the seas. Pity that it was a time limited exclusive for Pirate Legends, so either this thing is just never coming back, or it's coming back in like 5 years and costing 4,000 doubloons or something. Yeah, it's a crime. Now, Belle's hat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first Pirate Legend exclusive hat that we got, like as far as seasons went. I think this was in the first season, and it is just, look at the shape on this thing. This is a great hat. The barnacles don't take anything away. It's just, this is just a great hat. A lot of character to it, and again, not too overly cartoony, but not like extremely realistic either. Wonderful. But again, we just have like a lot of really nice hat options in this game. We've got the Hat of Cursed Bone, the Seafarer's Son hat. This hat's great for if you just want to like, if you just want to be chill and just go around places, and like a Hawaiian shirt, it's great. We have this cute little flower crown. I love this. I don't use it a lot, but I really should use it more. It's just really cute. And then we have um yeah, if you know how to unlock this hat, you already know how I got it. I don't need to explain myself. And that basically wraps up a lot of my opinions on the hats in this game. I know it seems like I spent a lot of time just saying, oh, I really love this hat, but like, I think I also do really well in establishing what makes a hat ugly in this game, because a lot of them are just like the wrong color, or too small, or, you know, just really gaudy and like overly bejeweled, with the exception of this crown. This crown's just gorgeous. I love this thing. But yeah, just, or they just don't match anything else in the game, which is, it's hard to screw up hats. You'd think they'd be really straightforward, but Rare somehow found a way, and I think that's a shame. I also completely forgot to mention the Adventurer hat, which is a really well shaped hat, but it's just that awful clay color again. Like, there are recolors of this hat that exist in the game files we will see later that actually look really good, but for some reason, yeah, no, this hat got shafted for players. Now I'm going to speed run through the hooks and the gloves because just like with the hats, most of them boil down to I like it or I don't like it. These are just notable ones that I feel like either represent a large swath of the hooks or represent like key features that I think should be pointing out and what makes them good and what makes them really ugly. Of course, these are only going to be the hooks that I have available to me or the ones that I already have purchased, because I don't have any of the Sea Dog cosmetics you may have noticed because I didn't cover the hats. I'm not going to be covering the Sea Dog cosmetics. I joined too late to cover most of those. Like, I joined right before Arena got canned, so yeah, that's unfortunate. Now, first up, I'm going to be talking about the crab hooks because to me, this is like the upper limit of how cartoony the Sea of Thieves art style can stretch to without like breaking. This is just kind of funny. It looks like you just killed an ocean crawler and then just stuck a few parts together and jammed it into your hand hole. It's it's hilarious. Next up, we have the sailor hook, which I think just really represents a lot of the hooks in the game. This is like the baseline of hooks, and they did really well at capturing that. It's just simple, very simple, and does not clash with anything. It's great. The Kraken hooks are another story, though. I used to like them back when I first joined the game within the first 6 months because I wasn't too familiar with the game's art style, but now that I've seen a lot more of the game and have been more accustomed to the art style, I can see these for what they are. They are unwieldy, they are heavy, they're too thick at the top and too thin at the bottom. This thing would snap off as soon as you try and use it for anything, and the metal looks way too brittle to be functional. I, I don't have a problem with using like brittle metal for a hook, but it does like not for something this thick and unwieldy. This just looks clumsy. And then you got like this bullshit, the Wild Rose hook. This thing is, oh my gosh, it's way too thick at the tip, similar problem to the Kraken hook, but unlike the Kraken hook, instead of a thin connection at the bottom, it has two thin connections at the bottom. So it can snap in two different places when you try and reload your blunderbuss. Yeah, this thing is. I get they were going for like a very thin, like flowery vine kind of look, but this isn't how you do it, Rare. There are better ways. And I just have to point out the parrot hooks. They are. This is gorgeous. Like, you have two rods of metal bent to look like parrot talons, nice and thin, but like not too thin to it'll snap, just very sturdy looking, melded together for like that extra bit of stability, and then like a nice thick connection at the bottom. This is what a themed hook should look like. Fancy, but functional. This is great. And then we we have the barnacle hooks. I love these things. They're stupid in the best possible way. Like, they're not gaudy Fortnite colorful skins. They're just fun little cosmetics that are on theme for the game itself. Like, this is the kind of stupid we need. Just this dumb stuff. Like, there's not even a point to it. It's just, you're just slapping somebody with a fish at this point. It's great. And one additional thing, the Midnight Blades hook, this is what the Kraken hook should have been. Like, it's got the fin on it and everything, but this actually looks like it could work. It's not like really weirdly brittle looking and like very scuffed up. This is like, it still has like a kind of thin connection there, but you can tell this thing would actually work. This is what the Kraken hook should have been. Now, for gloves, I only have a few takes, about 4 specifically. Here's an example of like something gaudy done right. This is the Gold Hoarder gloves. They have like nice little rings on the fingers and a very thematic like gold and emerald trim. It's great. These guys have an excuse to be blinged out, and this is the extent to it. Nice dull gold, nice like deep emerald. It's not like super shiny. This is just great. The game also has hand wraps that come in a few different colors. We have red ones, we have grimy ones, and we have these nice clean white ones that I really like. This is like a fun sort of like storytelling thing to put you on your pirate, like as if he's wrapped his hand in like stray cloth because he's about to get into a brawl and he doesn't have a lot of time to like go home and grab his gloves. This is the kind of fun stuff we need more of in the game. And these mercenary gloves are an early favorite of mine. They go with almost every outfit you can make in the game. They look like they would be heavy duty. These things are all purpose and they work great aesthetically in like most of the outfits you can make in this game. Good simple glove for starters. It's amazing. And then finally we have the Prosperous Privateer gloves, which are rings. They are just rings. And frankly, I think this type of cosmetic took way too long to be added into the game. This is what I wear on default now, these rings, because it just looks piratey. Pirates love to bedazzle themselves in like spare jewelry they found. It's this what took way too long. It's a shame that this is a limited seasonal cosmetic because that means it's not going to come back for at least a year after it's done. So yeah, we need more rings rare. Now the thing about the shirts in this game is that there are a lot of them that are just decent at best, but a lot of them are really good. Like I'm gonna cycle through in the background here while I'm talking. You're gonna see like a few slides of different shirts that I think work really well under jackets and like even without jackets. And then you have these merchant ones that are like this is just merchants are top tier when it comes to shirts. Only problem is, yeah, it's a bit of a price you got there. That's like 4 play sessions for a beginner, especially if he wants to buy other clothes, then it gets like a lot more. Like this is ridiculous amount of money for a single shirt. And then you have shirts like this, which aren't ugly, but they don't really match. The best way I know how to put it is like this doesn't look like something out of Sea of Thieves. This looks like something out of Star Wars. I expect to see this shirt in an episode of Rebels or something, not on like Pirates of the Caribbean or like an Errol Flynn movie. This is I don't know what this is. These 3 shirts right here are probably my favorites, at least when worn under jackets, because they just look fancy. They look like something a pirate would wear while he's trying to pretend to be someone of higher status. This looks like something pirate nobility would wear, someone who's like accomplished, and I think that works really well for them. Sad thing about all 3 of them, though, is that they are seasonal cosmetics, which means, let's say it again, they're probably not going to come back for about 2 years. And they're probably going to cost like an exorbitant amount for no reason, when I think this should be the standard of what shirts should look like. The Scrapper Vest is another one that I think is just really good. You don't even need like a jacket on top of this one. I recommend you don't even wear a jacket with this one, honestly. It's great on its own. As you can see, it like shows off tattoos really well and scars and stuff like that. Just get a pair of gloves, not even those really, but just get this shirt on, like pants and a belt and boots, and there you go. You got a full outfit for your pirate right there. Gorgeous. Also gonna like cycle through these jackets, just show you an example of what I think the Sea of Thieves art style really captures. Like the nice, simple, basic stuff that still looks nice and fancy. But there are a few of these that should really get some improvements. For example, we need this one in different colors, we need this one without the bones, we need the barnacle ones without the gack, and we need more with fancy cuffs, like this one. But this isn't a jacket. This is a dress. Now, you may have noticed a couple points in this video where I said something along the lines of, let's put a pin in that, or we'll get around to it. Here's where we get to that stuff, because guess what? At several points in the Pirate's Life and Monkey Island Tall Tales, you will encounter NPCs that feature really nice cosmetics that we as players do not have access to. For example, here's the pirates in charge of the 3 trials from the Monkey Island Tall Tales. I'm going to go through them left to right. Now, on the left here, this guy's hat is really good hat. It's kind of like the Bilge Rat ones I was talking about earlier, except it has a nice little skull and crossbones on the front. His shirt is kind of like a high-cut t-shirt, and his jacket is one I don't think I've seen anywhere else in the game. It's really nice, and we don't have any of it available to us as players. We have his beard. That's what we have. The guy in the middle here, again, really good hat. Like, look at that thing. Nice shiny trim, nice dark blue coloring, and the jacket's a recolor of one we have, but it's a color we don't have available to us, and the shirt looks like a recolor of the Daring Deceiver shirt, but without the little patch on it, so it's a cleaner version of the Daring Deceiver shirt. Again, we don't have any of this. We have his beard, and that's about it. And the guy on the right, again, nice shirt with, stripes on it, because apparently that's a thing Rare hasn't figured out how to add onto player cosmetics yet. A really good jacket, nice dark color with red trim, and a hat that matches the jacket but also has these little like white semicircles on it. It looks like a recolor of the Sea Dog hat correct me if I'm wrong there, but just without the like extra rings and the big feathers. It's a really nice hat, and I honestly think, again, we should have access to that as players, but we don't. And then there's the chef, who, again, we don't have the shirt, we don't have the hat, we don't have this cool apron. Like, these are all very simple cosmetics. We have the shoes, I think, but nothing else. You clearly know how to add this stuff into the game, Rare. Why don't we have access to it as players? This is something that happens again and again and again in the Tall Tales. Good hat, good shirt, good jacket, good mustache, good hat, good jacket, good shirt, good beard, great hat, great shirt. My buddy and I would kill for a simple red jacket like this. Great hat, great shirt, amazing hat, great jacket, another striped shirt. I also want this guy's hair. This guy should be left as a standalone. His outfit is way too iconic. We should add the option to have 2 hooks instead of 2 hands, or 2 pegs instead of 2 legs, because this is something people have been asking for since Merrick. And then there's additional fun features like the anchor on this guy's jacket, which is again a jacket that we as players do not have. I think we should be able to add like little sigils and symbols like the anchor onto pieces of clothing that are otherwise plain. I also think the hair, the glasses, and the beard are things that we as players should have access to. The Pirate's Life Tall Tales came out over a year ago, and we still don't have any of these features. Like, we don't have the striped shirts, we don't have the bandana, we don't have the hat. Look at that hat, that thing is glorious. We don't have that guy's jacket either, or the striped socks. Striped pants, we see a guy wearing the brawler vest and another guy wearing a unique open vest that we do not have. Another glorious hat, jacket, and shirt that we just flat out do not have available to us as players, even though this has been in the game files for over a year. And many, many such cases. Honestly, I'm surprised we don't have any of these. They are very simple cosmetics, and for some reason, Rare just decides we don't need striped shirts. We don't need to look like pirates. We need to look like gaudy, gargantuan pieces of shit. Don't even get me started on the Tall Tale specific stuff. We have the entire Morningstar clothing set available to us. We already own the ship set as players, but we can't wear the cosmetics for like the pirates outside of the Tall Tale. Why? Maybe because it's too clean. I don't know, man. I think actually being able to pick up that outfit and earn it after the Tall Tale would make a lot of sense. Oh, what's that? You want to cosplay Soldier TF2? You have to go into this one specific Tall Tale. That's the only time you can look like a character at a Flibberoloo. You can't wear a pot on your head outside of this Tall Tale. Oh, what's that? You want an apron? Oh, you can't have that outside of a single Tall Tale, even though we have clearly modeled the apron, the chef's hat, and you already have a sword that is just a spatula. You cannot go full chef drip. You gotta go into a Tall Tale for that shit. Basically, there's a lot of really nice piratey cosmetics that we can't have as players, even though they are clearly in the game files. I I don't get it, man. I just want to look like a pirate. I don't always want to wear like full Dark Adventurer drip and look like a tryhard. I just want to look like a normal pirate doing normal pirate things sometimes. I don't always want to look like the center of the universe because I'm not the center of the universe, not even in this game, not even close to it. I don't want to look like I'm trying to be that. I just want to look like a pirate. What makes all of this even worse is that porting over NPC cosmetics onto players is something Rare has proven they are willing to do. They have set precedent for it. Here's the Guybrush Threepwood costume. Just take the jacket, the shirt, and the pants, add them separately, and these would be like really fitting into the game world. But guess what? You gotta pay money for this shit. Here's the Elaine costume, and again, for some reason, we just can't have this normally, this nice shade of pink. No, we need to pay money for it. We need to pay $5 for pink. You want to have metal cuffs and a nice necklace? Well, guess what? $5 for that too, buckaroo. Fuck you. Look at LeChuck. Every single item in this costume set looks like it should be an individual thing. We need hats this big and goofy. This is what the pirate hats should be like. What is this? Why do I have to pay $5 to look like a pirate? Look at Admiral Beckett, look at Red, look at Barbossa. These are all like just standard pirate looks, but we can't have any of this in the base game. No, the tricorn hats, oh, that's too much. You gotta have the Minecraft terracotta. Ugh. And the entire crew of the Black Pearl has the pirate look right. Look at this guy, this guy, this guy, this. That's a girl's suit, but still, you can wear it as a guy. Like, this is all what pirates should be wearing. But oh, no. You want to dress like a pirate? You gotta either pay money for it, and it all comes in one piece, or you gotta be here at a specific time and never join after that, even if you didn't hear about the game until then, and you gotta grind your ass off for the rest of it, because guess what? It's expensive to look like a normal pirate. Looking like something that isn't trying to be the middle of the universe is more expensive than the gaudiest shit in the game. What the fuck? Also, complete side tangent, but it's really a shame that the Reaper costume is only worn by swabbies or people who are either just really bad at the game or really toxic when they lose, because it's a fun costume and it deserves more love, really. But yeah, that entire rant is basically how I feel about the cosmetics in Sea of Thieves, specifically for pirates. I don't have a lot of thoughts on weapon cosmetics or boat cosmetics outside of the Sunken Sorrow sets, because most of them are just fine, up to a matter of personal taste. Some I like more than others, but all of them are effective and functional, so I don't really have any stances on them. Outside of the Sunken Sorrow stuff, that stuff looks like cat vomit. Even though I don't have a lot to say about boat cosmetics as far as like sails, hulls, capstans, cannons, etc., I do have something to say about a specific type of boat cosmetic, one that hasn't been implemented yet. And no, I'm not talking about harpoons. There's something specific that people have been asking for a while that I think honestly should be implemented at some point in the near future, and that is ships. New ships, not new ship types. I think the ship types should stick to the main three. However, I think we should have aesthetic alternatives to the main three ship types. Exact same functionality, exact same advantages and disadvantages, just slightly different shapes. Because, let's be honest, they have done this a bunch of times with the Galleon. We have LeChuck and Guybrush's ships in the introductions of the Tall Tales. We have the Black Pearl. You're able to get above deck, below deck, and all around it in the base game. You have the Flying Dutchman, again, fully explorable, just shrink it down a little bit, keep the exact same model, and just add 4 cannons onto each side, and there you go. Fully functional, new shape for the Galleon. And yeah, because these are models that are already in the game, it wouldn't take a lot of tweaking to just make it player controllable. Just have an alternative shape for the Galleon. Make it function like a ship curse or something. Speaking of ship curses, is it me or did the Monkey Island Tall Tales hint at a possible ghost curse for galleons? Because that's essentially what the Headless Monkey ship is. It's a regular galleon with the ghost curse. I really hope this is hinting towards the future addition of not only a ghost curse, but a skeleton curse for ships too. Make our ships be able to look more like the skeleton ships. That would be awesome. Of course, there would still be an easy way to visually distinguish between ghost ships, skeleton ships, and player ships that resemble those two. I'm not advocating for the ability to completely disguise, but yeah, just have it so that people who have more than 2 hours in the game can still easily tell the difference. But yeah, those are things I think should be added specifically to ships. Different shapes while keeping the exact same functionality and exact same balancing, just alternative shapes to the same 3 ship types, and possible ghost and skeleton curses for ships, because I think that's in the works, because you don't just add something like that to the game, Rare. I think they're hinting at something. I hope. I pray. Please. And outside all of that, there is one specific thing that I think should be added to the game. Since they already have decided, hey, we're just going to keep on releasing recolors, why not give the player the ability to make recolors? Just take the base assets that are already in the game and give players the ability to color it differently. Like, say, the Wild Rose sails. Maybe give us the ability to make them, like, green, blue, and white, or something like that. Like, give us the power to, if we've earned a sail cosmetic, be able to color it however we want, since recolors are going to be a thing that are constantly pumped out anyways for free, basically. Implement it like in Warframe, where you can only pick colors that already exist in the game onto patterns that already exist in the game. You can't change the patterns, you just can pick what colors go where on that pattern. Basically like a coloring book. Just use that system and there you go. It could cost, say, 500,000 coins or something like that to be able to unlock that ability and like maybe hide it behind an achievement or something, but yeah, that would be a good system to implement. And one more thing that I really think should be addressed, why can't we wear our normal clothes as skeletons? Now, I get like skeletons having specific cosmetics. I think that's great and really fun, but I think it should be toggleable. Like toggling between the specific skeleton cosmetics and the ability to just wear our normal clothes, which, I don't know. They've already set a precedent for it because you have the long coat, pants, and boots cosmetics for the skeleton, so clearly they know how to model that. They just refuse to do it for the normal clothes for some reason, as if they're allergic to adding a single flat color layer to the inside of the shirts and stuff. But yeah, that's basically all of my thoughts on the cosmetics of Sea of Thieves. This video was a lot less scripted than the previous one, as you can probably tell. It's just kind of me spitballing ideas. I still had to do multiple takes because, messing up words and stuff like that, it happens. But yeah, this is just a very casual video of me getting my thoughts out there and seeing how other people respond to it. Here, hold on, let me just change back into the... There we go. That's a lot better. But yeah, just putting my thoughts out there. If you disagree or agree or have your own thoughts to add on to the matter, please feel free to comment about it at length, even, because at the end of the day, this is a conversation, and engaging in the exchange of ideas is an enriching experience for all parties involved, as long as it's done in a relatively calm manner. I mean, people seem to get really heated about the cosmetics in this game for some reason, and I'm not really sure why. It's fine.
He says after losing his mind and ranting about the cosmetics in this game for 5 minutes straight without taking a breath.
So, yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video, if I make another one. Have a good day on the seas, brothers. Sail on, and let the flame burn.